Hello and welcome. Welcome to the Little Likac podcast, episode 90. My name is Amanda and I'm coming to you from Derby in the United Kingdom. It is Sunday the 6th of April 2025. It is a beautiful sunny day, and if you are into all things knitting, a little bit of crochet and lots of yarny goodness, you have come to the right place. This is episode 90. I have got some finished objects to show you, quite a few new cast ons, works in progress, and yeah, so come and join me if that sounds like your cup of tea. Firstly though, I would like to say a massive thank you to everybody who left me messages after my news in the last podcast 2 weeks ago, where I had shared with you that we'd had a family bereavement. So many of you have sent me lovely messages, left lovely comments, and I really appreciate it. It has been a hard couple of weeks, I'm not going to lie, and I think we've still got some difficult times ahead as well, but we're all working together and the family are all pulling together, and yeah, so I really appreciate all the lovely comments. But this afternoon it is, what have we got? I have got some finished objects to show you, I have got some works in progress, we have got a giveaway to do as well for the February. I had to think then, didn't I? Yes, where are we now? Beginning of April. So yes, it will be the February finished objects for the Socksy and You Know It knit along. The lady who won the January one, Debbie, she has been in touch with me, and I hadn't got round to sending her the wool, and she got in touch with me again and said that she is coming to Sodbury Yarn Over. So we've arranged that she's going to come and collect the yarn from me in person, which will be lovely, really lovely to meet her in person. Sodbury Yarn Over is a yarn show that I am vending at next weekend. So what was that, the 12th and 13th of April, which I'm really excited about, really looking forward to. It's been nice actually kind of having that to focus on. I've been finding it difficult to focus on a lot of things, but that's actually been quite a nice thing to look forward to get prepared for. So yes, I will be doing the giveaway for the February draw. If you don't know what the Socksy and You Know It make along, if you go onto the Ravelry group for this podcast, and all my contact details, where you can find me, etc., are all in the description box below. You will see that we are having a make along for knitting a pair of socks, and you have 2 months to knit a pair of socks. If you started a pair of socks in March, you have still got to the end of April where you can enter those, okay, and if you start a pair of socks at the end of April, you've got all the way through to the end of May to enter those, etc. We are doing all entries through Ravelry or email. If you want to email me a picture of your finished object, if you email me at littlelikac@gmail.com, and then I will enter that onto the Ravelry thread for you. The reason we're doing that, I mean, feel free to tag and hashtag on Instagram, that's absolutely fine, but it is Instagram have made it much harder for people to see specific things on hashtags. You can't follow hashtags anymore. If I search up a hashtag, I can't guarantee that I will see everything that has been tagged with that hashtag. So yes, if you want to guarantee that your socks are going to be entered into the giveaway draw, then you must either email me or enter them onto Ravelry yourself. So I've just got my phone out because I was going to do the giveaway. Yeah, let's do that. Let me show you first what you're going to win. So I have been giving away yarn out of my socks stash, and this month I have pulled out of my stash this skein of King Cole Footsie, which is actually 100% acrylic. This is the shade Strawberry, and so this is a really good yarn to use if you have somebody with wool allergies to knit for. So did I say it's 100% acrylic? That is not true. It is 93% acrylic, 7% PBT. No, I don't think I said it was acrylic. Anyway, did I? I said it was colour weight is strawberry, and when you knit it up, it knits up into sort of the colours of strawberries. I bought this from a local yarn, well, not my local yarn store, but I bought it from a small independent yarn store. I was going to knit my mum a pair of socks with it because she's allergic to wool, but I haven't, so it's going to you guys instead. I've also got one of these called Christmas Fruit, and I'm keeping that one because my Slimming World consultant has asked me to knit a pair of socks for the Christmas raffle at the end of the year, and so I thought I would knit that not in wool, so that if somebody wins it, has a wool allergy or wool problem, they can still wear them. And I thought Christmas fruit, Christmas time, it all kind of went quite nicely with Slimming World. So I've kept the Christmas fruit one for myself to knit later in the year, and this one is going, as I say, for the giveaway winner. So I'm going to go onto my phone and we're going to find the Ravelry thread, check, I think there's about 80 entries, so we'll just double check that. So yes, there are 88 posts on here. So, be a number between 1 and 88.
Here's a number between 1 and 88. It's 46.
The camera just moved because Stu decided to lie down by the tripod. Alexa, what number did you say?
Sorry, there is nothing to repeat.
Okay, so I think Alexa said number 41. I really hope I've got this right. Okay, so number 41 is Jennifer Natters. I think that is a new person that I haven't seen before, hasn't won anything before. Yeah, it looks like it's her first post on the Little Likac group. So these are Sock Madness qualifier socks in West Yorkshire Spinners. And let me see if I can see where Jennifer Natters is from. Oh, she's in Scotland. Okay, so Jennifer, I've just seen, right. Her favourite curse word, I love this on Ravelry. Ravelry, you can put all sorts of interesting things in your bio. Her favourite curse word is crap on toast, apparently. Love it. Anyway, she, yeah, she's an American living in Scotland. So yeah, I will be, so Jennifer, if you get in touch with me, email me on littlelikac@gmail.com and send me your address. I will get that posted up to you in Inverness in Scotland. Fabulous. Okay, so I'm just editing the podcast and saw that I completely messed that up and that number 46 was the actual winner. I am still going to send that yarn though to the winner that I announced, Jennifer Natters, but number 46 is a Canadian winner. That is Grandma 6 Knits. So as that is a international winner, I will be sending a pattern prize to Grandma 6 Knits. So if you get in touch with me as well, and I'm so sorry, let's call it menopause brain, even though I went through the menopause over 10 years ago. But so Grandma 6 Knits, you have won a pattern prize. Okay, if you get in touch with me, and a pattern up to $10 US. I think you're from Canada actually, so whatever the sort of equivalent is in Canadian dollars, and I will send you a pattern through Ravelry. Apologies for that. So that leads me really nicely to my first finished object of this month, or this podcast, and that is the Socksy and You Know It socks that I knitted for March. They haven't got their ends woven in. Okay, so here we are. Ta-da! A pair of finished socks. So I believe when I showed these to you 2 weeks ago, I'd probably finished the whole of the first sock and was up to here on the second sock. These are knitted in King Cole head over heels, and I think the colourway was Vixen. But I don't think I've got the ball band with me. If I have, I'll get it out in a little bit when I show this month's socks, because they'll be in that ball still. So you can see actually I have not sewn in the ends. Why is it? Why do we do this? Graft the toes, and then I just couldn't be bothered to pull that thread through and weave it in at the end. All that bit. Anyway, apart from that, they are finished. So yes, what can I tell you? My Socksy and You Know It socks, I do them on 2.5mm needles. I do 60 stitches, 2.2 rib, 2x2 rib even, 6 inches total leg, heel flap and gusset, wedge toe. To me, that's just like a standard vanilla sock recipe that fits my foot nicely and is quick and easy for me to knit. All my Socksy and You Know It yarns this year are self-patterning, mostly self-striping or self-patterning in some way, so I don't worry about doing any kind of fancy pattern for these socks. They are all just commercial, well, mostly commercial yarns. There are a few independent yarns, but mostly commercial yarns, and just nice sort of workhorse, hard-wearing socks. Yeah, and those are my March socks. And while we are on the subject of socks, I will show you my second finished object, which is also a pair of socks. Although I only have one sock booker here, this one. Now these are a pair of socks for my husband. So I'm going to hold them up like this. And these are in the West Yorkshire Spinner yarn. West Yorkshire Spinners Mallard is the name of this particular yarn. And the heels, toes and cuffs are also West Yorkshire Spinner, and they are in the amber colourway. So when you saw these 2 weeks ago, I was up to here in just the first sock. So I've actually got the whole of the second sock done in the 2 weeks since I last saw you. So these do not match completely, because you can see, oh, I'm just trying to stay out of the light here, you can see the first one started in the dark brown, the second one started in the blue. I asked my husband if he wanted me to wind off the yarn so that they started at the same point, and he was like, no, I don't care. So that's fine. And yeah, they are for my husband, who has a size 10 shoe, I think, something like that. I think he's about size 10. And so these are 72 stitches on 2.25mm needles. 2.2 rib again. I think I do about 15 rows of rib for him, and then quite a long leg. Mine, I count 6 inches from the top of the rib. For him, I think I count 6 inches from the bottom of the rib. So it's more like a 7-inch leg, I think, in total. And then however many rows. I mean, I've got it written down on my Ravelry. For the first pair of socks I knitted him, I then wrote down how many rows that I do for the leg and for the foot. And that's what I follow each time, as long as I'm just doing a plain vanilla pattern. And again, of course, using the self-striping means that the plain vanilla just comes up nice and easily. He has requested more hand knitted socks, so I am planning on knitting him a pair every couple of months. So hopefully he'll have maybe 6 new pairs by the end of the year, whereas I'll have 12 pairs for me, maybe more actually. I knitted a lot of pairs of socks last year. I think it was about 24, 25 pairs of socks, and I said I wasn't going to knit that many this year. The way things are going, it's going to be the same again. Okay, and then the third finished object I have to show you is here, and it is a shawl. This is the Limewash shawl, which is designed by Penny Baker Knits. She is a friend of mine who also lives in Derby, or Derbyshire. She lives just outside of Derby, actually, in a nice little village. And this is the Limewash shawl that I started in, oh yes, I do know when I started this, December 2023. Is that right? Yes. I bought the yarn in the autumn of 2023, hence the reason why it's kind of sort of autumnal colours, and then started it as part of the MKAL 12 Cast Ons of Christmas, but not the Christmas just gone, but the Christmas before. And then it got left and sort of not forgotten about, but just got left for a while. And then I have finished it. Let me show you. It's a really unusual shape, but it's come out really nicely. And I pulled this out of hibernation and just was like, right, this is something that I want to get finished. I think the colours are lovely. Again, like I said before though, I think more autumnal. It tells you to use an Icelandic bind off. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I did the bind off or the cast off terribly well. I don't think I got it right all the way yet. Yeah. So it's a little bit wonky, a little bit uneven. I probably should have gone back and tried to fix it, but anyway, but I didn't. It has a double, what's it called? Central double decrease. It's got one of those running down. And again, I think there was one row where I put in, yeah, I missed on the way back. Look, just got one little mistake there. Never mind. But, you know, it is lovely. And say unusual shape, and I think it will be nice in the autumn. So that's going to get put away in my wardrobe, get it out later in the year. Did block it as well. The yarns that I used, let me just talk about those. The grey is West Yorkshire Spinners Croft in the colourway Clate. I think I said slate before and it's actually Clate. And then these ones, I'll come out with a light amanda, is Sirdar Head Tweed. This is all DK double knit. And the russet, bilberry and something blue. Anyway, all the details are on my project page on Ravelry, including what the colourways of the colourway names of the different yarns. So those are my 3 finished objects, which I'm pretty pleased with, because as I said, the last couple of weeks I found it quite difficult to sort of concentrate on anything for very long, and I've been flitting from project to project, and if I'm honest, had a little bit of cast on-itis as well, so I've got some new cast ons to show you, but I am quite pleased with what I've got finished there. So yeah, let's show you some whips. You might have just caught a glimpse actually of the Mystical Lanterns blanket. So the Mystical Lanterns blanket, I'm going to move back a little bit. I've got skylights there and the sun's coming over, which is lovely, apart from you won't be able to see me. Right, the Mystical Lanterns blanket, I have finished all the lanterns, including all the half lanterns. Before I started on the half lanterns, this is a crochet pattern. So let me tell you a bit about it. This is a crochet pattern by Janie Crow, who designs amazing crochet blankets, possibly some other things as well. I think there's some ponchos and things like that. And the Mystical Lanterns blanket, I started this on Christmas Eve, and my plan had been if I did 1 lantern a day, I would have all the lanterns finished by, I think I worked out June time. But it is now April and I am on the sewing up. So once I had completed all the full lanterns, and the full lanterns is one of these, once I'd completed all of those, and all the strips of those, I laid them out with my daughter, and I'll put up a picture here. You can see here we laid them out and decided on how to place them, and then we numbered them all. And then I did the half lanterns that go at the end of every other row. So here's a half lantern. So I did all the half lanterns and attached those as well to the rows. And then this morning I put together the first 2 strips and crocheted them together. Now I'm crocheting them with a dark purple. This is the reverse side, which does look lovely actually. And then this is the front, so you can see the stitches there. And I absolutely love how this is coming out. One thing I will say is it took me a lot longer to crochet together these first 2 strips than I thought it would. A lot longer. I thought, oh, maybe 30-40 minutes to crochet 2 strips together. Maybe it'll take me longer for the first one, so maybe up to about an hour to do the first 2. About 2.5 hours this took. Not really sure why. I'm hoping it will get quicker. You can see here I've got the numbers. Now this is number 14 and 15. Unfortunately, it's not, you know, the last 2 to sew together. It was the first 2, but it just happened to be those, the way that I'd got everything in the bags. These 2 came out first. So I thought, okay, we'll go backwards, 15, 14, 13, etc. So yes, because I had thought, excuse me, so I had thought that if I'd crochet 2 strips together every day, I would get this done in the next couple of weeks. But now I've realised how long it takes to crochet 2 strips together. It may well be that it's more like 2 days to crochet 2 strips together, because I've got lots of other things to work on as well. But it is coming along and I do love it, and I'm very, very happy. These ends that you can see, by the way, they will get crocheted over as I do add the next strip. But yeah, I mean, look at it. I absolutely love it. It's going to be totally, totally worth it. Yeah, we'll just keep working on it. So anyway, obviously I'm not going to show you all of the strips, but we'll just keep going on it. Right, okay. So what else have I been working on? Shall we do another blanket? So last podcast I showed you the minis for the March mystery blanket from Little Likac, and I have now put those together into the squares for my blanket. Really pleased with those. This is the Willow square, which is out of this book, 200 Crochet Blocks for Blankets, Throws and Afghans by Jan Eaton. So this is the Willow square out of here. And my mini mystery club, you get 3 20-gram minis. I'm using the DK ones, and these were the 3 colours from March's club. April's club has been dyed. Did that this weekend, and they will be being posted out this week. And I said that I really wasn't sure what to do with the leftovers, and somebody suggested, now actually I don't know if they were suggesting this for the mini club or they were suggesting it for somebody else, but somebody suggested gnomes. So I took a look at the Imagine Landscape gnomes, and Imagine Landscapes, I think the designer's name might be Sarah. And her designs have become quite popular over the last couple of years. And when I was at Nibbles, Needles and Hooks after school a couple of weeks ago, I was looking at her pattern books. I was sitting there having a cup of coffee, knitting on some socks, as you do. And I looked up at her display of pattern books, and she'd got this. And I thought somebody had suggested using leftovers for gnomes. I might have to try and move again in a minute because the sun is coming further and further over. So I bought this book, and it is absolutely lovely. Look at some of these gnomes. And it's interesting actually, because I've always quite liked the idea of gnomes, but I hadn't really thought about knitting gnomes, and I don't know. It's funny how your tastes change or your desires change. And I was suddenly like, I want to knit a gnome. I want to knit a gnome. And the more I thought about it, the more I wanted to knit a gnome. Aren't they fabulous? So I thought, let's see if we can knit a gnome, the smallest of gnomes, using the leftovers from the mini blanket. Now I'm hoping, yes. Now, this is how far I've got with this gnome. Because even the smallest of gnomes, I'm struggling actually, I think, to do the have enough of the leftovers, but we will make it work. We'll just keep it. It's going to be quite a multicoloured gnome, I think. But he's got his hat, and this is his body, and I haven't listed these on Etsy yet, but look, my husband has designed and made some gnome stitch markers. You can't see that terribly well, can you? I've got some more here. So these will be going into the Etsy shop. There's one. There are 4 different ones. 2. 3. And the 4th one is on my little gnome at the moment. And we've also done some yarn spinners with the gnomes on as well. So yes, I have started a little gnome here. And yeah, I'll just keep adding in the 20g mini leftovers that I've got, and it's going to be, I think, a little bit of a very variegated one, that one. However, as I was looking at the Imagine Landscape stuff, it turns out that she was starting a new mystery make-along for a gnome over April, and it's called Professor Fungi. And I had the yarn left over from this shawl, and I thought they look like good gnome colours, so I have actually started the mystery gnome in these colours, and the grey as well. So I have done the first few bits. I'm not going to show them on here just in case anybody else is doing the mystery and doesn't want any spoilers or anything like that. So I'm not going to show it at the moment, but hopefully by the time, I don't know if I'll have it finished by the next podcast, but it should be most of the way done. So yeah, so I've decided to join in with the mystery gnome along. A little bit of fun. Okay, now also last podcast I was working on the Nancy vest, and I showed you this, and then I couldn't find the pattern anywhere. Now thank you again for those of you who are concerned and said, I do hope you find that pattern. You will be pleased to know, yes I did. Here it is. I found the pattern, and in fact it wasn't that far from where the actual oh goodness me, wasn't very far from where the project bag was. I'm going to have to move in a minute, aren't I? And so I have done some more work on the vest. So you can see this is where I got up to last time, and so I've got all of that done. And I think I've still got about another 10 centimetres to go before I shape the shoulders. So I have started the armholes. This is the back of this vest. I'm going to pause and stop and reposition myself and the camera and everything, because as you can see the sun is coming further and further in, and I'm having to come over here to avoid it. I'll be back with you in a minute. We might be in a slightly different position though. Okay, so behind me now we've got the gerbil tank, so you never know, you might be able to, oh in fact you can see him, he's having a little drinky here. This is Bert, the gerbil. So I've just moved stuff over. Right, anyway, I was talking about this pattern, which I can now hold up a bit better. This is the Nancy vest by the Wensleydale Longwool sheep shop. And yes, I'm very relieved to find the pattern, because when I looked online afterwards, you couldn't buy the pattern just by itself. You had to buy it as part of the kit. And I had visions of me emailing them, begging them to let me buy another copy of the pattern. Anyway, all sorted, found it, and yeah, been working on it. So I won't go through all the colours again this time. I did that last time, and again on my Ravelry pages this project is listed along with all the colourways of the yarn, etc. But let's put the pattern back in the bag. Right, Okay, what else have I been working on? So, this was a cast on that I cast on I think at the end of January, did the cuff and then just left it. So this is the Dusting of Frost socks, which is part of the Cozy Toes knit along being run by Kelly of Roro and Cades. It is one of her patterns. And I am so lucky because Kelly chose to knit this pattern originally in one of my yarns, which was the Frosted Berries colourway. Just this one here. And she knitted this pattern, designed this pattern in this yarn. So thank you so much for that, Kelly. And then she released it in February, I believe. And it is the March-April knit-along sock. And it would be ridiculous if I didn't knit it, wouldn't it? So here you go. It is beautiful. And I think if I'm really honest, I knit the cuff and then I kept thinking, I did the ribbing for the cuff, and then I kept thinking that the lace pattern was going to be really complicated. And it isn't. Yes, you've got to concentrate. And the first couple of times I, really had to focus. But once actually I'd got the first couple of repeats done, it became much, much easier. Don't get me wrong, I still have to look at the chart, but it does get much easier, and it is so beautiful, so pretty. It is definitely worth the time and effort. It isn't difficult, but I'm using Knit Companion, which really helps because you can highlight the row that you're on each time. So I would highly recommend using something where you can tick off or highlight the rows each time. Absolutely beautiful though. So I will move my progress keeper. Now, to be part of the knit along, ideally I should have this finished by the end of April. And I certainly want to get the first one finished before the yarn show next weekend so that I can take it as a sample. Because I have got 3 or 4 of this colourway in stock that I'll be taking with me. So yeah, the plan is to at least get the first sock finished by Friday so I can take the first sock with me, and then hopefully get the second sock finished by the end of April. Yeah, it's a beautiful pattern, and I think it might still be on offer. There might be a discount on it still all the way through till the end of April. I could be wrong on that, but I think there is. I don't know what pattern is being released or what pattern is going to be discounted for the next one, which will be the beginning of May. So have a look for that, I would say. Literally, just as I have said this, somebody on Etsy has just favourited the Frosted Berry sock set, so I hope there's still some left by the time I go away at the weekend. And talking of knitting with my own yarn, I put up a post on Instagram the other day, the Mother's Day boxes. I think I said in the last podcast how pleased I was with the colourway for the Mother's Day boxes, and decided to keep one of the balls of yarn for myself. Now I wound this on my electric skein winder, and it doesn't wind it very well. I need to rewind it. Look how big it's come out. But this was the colourway for the Mother's Day boxes for Little Likac, and it came with this mini, and I decided it's too beautiful for socks, so I've decided to knit a shawl with it. And it came with this bag, which is more of a sock bag, to be fair. It is quite a small bag. But I have started a shawl. But I wanted to show you the progress keeper as well, because the progress keeper also came with the set. And it is so pretty. I know when it's your own design of something you probably shouldn't say it, but I just so pleased with how this one came out. So you've got speckles of pinks, yellows, lilac, lavender. Yes, just so pretty. You also got with the set a little tin And there was a pen as well, which I haven't got in here, a floral pen. That again, there are a couple of Mother's Day boxes still left in the shop, I believe, if they haven't sold out by the time you see this podcast. But oh, absolutely beautiful. So the shawl I'm doing is called the Sugared Violets shawl, and I knitted this shawl over 10 years ago once and gifted it to my niece. On my Ravelry page there is a photo, but the only photo I've got is just like a close up, and there's no photo of the whole shawl, which is a bit rubbish. I think that's because I didn't block it and I was waiting to take a photo till I blocked it. But for whatever reason, I can remember sending it to my niece saying, I'm really sorry this hasn't been blocked. So I never took a full photo of it. So yeah, but I'm knitting this one again. It's not a free pattern, but it's in my library. So I was looking for a pretty pattern, shawl pattern, that I'd got either a free one or one I'd already got in my library. And I thought, well, I have knitted this before, but I haven't got to the pattern. So just a bit concerned about the cast on, actually is a bit bunched up there, but never mind. But yeah, it's coming up absolutely beautiful. So I think I will be taking this with me to actually work on at the show next weekend, because the vast majority of it is just stocking stitch with just increases at the ends. So it would be one that I could actually work on while I am at the show. So yeah, really, really pretty. And my last new cast on is the Socks and You Know It socks for April. So I pulled out my yarn for this month and unwrapped it, and it is an Opal yarn, and it is really pretty. Oh, bear with me, there we go. It is so pretty, and it is knitting up very nicely. And I've actually got quite a bit done of the first sock. Oh, there we go. So I have got the leg and the heel flap done of the first sock. And by chance, the way it's come out, the heel flap there, we've got that little bit of the Fair Isle on it there, which means we're only going to have a tiny bit of the Fair Isle over here, and then we're going to go back into the purples, but I don't mind. Absolutely. I really like this one. Really like this one. I think you could tell with my March ones, which were the Christmas one, I wasn't that fussed about them. I was kind of like, they're okay. But these are pretty. So hence the reason why I've probably got that much done already on that sock. So if you want to know the colourway, sorry, yeah, it's Opal Viridian, and the colourway is actually called Kate, and it's Faber, which I think is the colour, 7955. I'm never sure which one is the colourway and which is the dye lot. So the party 2826. Right, now all I've got left to show you are my confessions. As you may know, if you're a regular viewer of the podcast, I am trying to use more stash than I buy. This worked quite well in January because I gave a lot away. I have actually given some away again in April. I took a pack. I had a Christmas, what's it? Dear. I had a Christmas pattern book with a load of Peyton's acrylic for knitting, I don't know, like Christmas toys and things like that. It was never going to get used, so I took that to the charity shop. But I have got a few items that I bought. Now actually the first one I'm going to show you I bought in March, so this went into March's numbers for in and out, and I just forgot to show it at the last podcast. I actually went to a knitting shop in Nottingham called Knit Nottingham at the beginning of March for a cheese and wine evening. Or they called it wine and twine. So it was cheese, wine and a knit and natter. I mean, what's not to love? And while I was there, I bought from them a pattern and yarn. So the pattern I got was a vest top, because apparently I'm into vest tops at the moment, but I really need to get round to finishing some of them. So I bought this vest top, and the yarn I bought is actually the correct yarn for it as well. So it is knit in King Cole Simply Denim, and that is the colourway I bought. So actually on the back of it is a jumper as well, which is just a nice plain v-neck jumper pattern, and that is knitted in that colour. But I've bought just 3 balls, which should be enough to do the vest top. Isn't it pretty? It is called Purple Denim. It is 50% acrylic and 50% cotton, and there are 280 metres. So yeah, I got 3 balls of that. So I bought that from Knit Nottingham at the beginning of March. Then this week was the start of the UK hand knitting. They do every year. They do kind of like a promotion to try and encourage you to go to your local yarn store. Now the last 2 years they've done a yarn crawl, which I've really enjoyed. This year they've changed it, and I'm not so enamoured with it. This year it's love your local yarn store, which I do, but it's to encourage you to go 4 times to the same shop, which is fine, and I will do that. I will go to Nibbles, Needles and Hooks 4 times quite happily and easily, which is my local yarn shop that is on my way home from work if I take a detour. But it's, yeah, anyway, I count it as my local yarn shop, even though it's not the yarn shop that's most local to me. It's run by lovely Liz. Liz and Simon. They also they had a whole spread and feature in this month's The Knitter magazine, so please do have a look at that. But anyway, so the UK Hand Knitting Association, something like that. Love your yarn shop, 29th of March to the 31st of May. If you go to the same yarn shop 4 times, and then you can enter for, and they sign and date it, etc. And then you can enter for some giveaways. You can actually go, if you've got more than one local yarn store, you could go to more than one, but you get the same card signed by the same yarn shop. Anyway, so I went there, and while I was there, you'll see what I mean about liking vest patterns at the moment. I picked up this pattern, and again, I actually picked up the right yarn for it. I know. So this is Hayfield Spirit. Now with both of these, you're talking about knitting and getting the pattern and the yarn and knitting a garment for less than £20. So this one is thicker. This is 80% acrylic, 20% wool. So this is going to be a bit warmer than the other one, which is wool and cotton. No, acrylic and cotton. This one's acrylic and wool. Hayfield Spirit, again DK, 345 metres for 100 grams. And yeah. Let me smile instead of putting a silly face. Smile. So yeah, I don't know what to say about it other than really I just need to actually get some stuff cast on. Cast on more stuff, Amanda. That's what you need to do. Cast on all the things, because that is just how I'm feeling at the moment, and I think that is quite often a response I have to when things are stressful in my life. I cast on lots of things. Do you? Is that how you cope with things? Anyway, let's not go back to depressing stuff. Let's keep this light and cheery. I think that is all I have got to show you. Oh, it's not quite. Hang on, bear with me. So in preparation for the yarn show next weekend, I've got a few new notions and progress keepers and things like that to go on the stand. So I like to have little extras that people can pick up on, so if they're buying some yarn, they might buy a progress keeper to go with it, or a little pin badge, things like that. And so I bought some to go on the stand this for this show. And yeah, let me show you what I've got. I've got this one, which is totally adorable, little pink kawaii mushroom, kind of in keeping with my brand. It's quite girly and it's not flowery but feminine, you know, the pink, very cute. I also got these, totally on brand, purple unicorns, totally on brand. But then somehow these also jumped in and wanted to be part of the show. How adorable. Now, the reason why I'm kind of saying it like this is I try to stick to themes and brands. I do a lot of things that are book themed, and generally speaking, my vibe in the shop and possibly in the way I am anyway is quite, like I say, feminine, flowery, floral, but somehow this green dinosaur has decided to join the party. I hope nobody minds. They're not on the Etsy shop yet. They'll go to Sodbury Yarn Show, and then if I've got any leftovers, I'm sure I will have some leftovers because I've bought quite a few of the dinosaur. But if I've got leftovers, they will go into the Etsy shop afterwards. But let me know what you think of the little dinosaur. Does he completely ruin the whole vibe of Little Likac, or do you think he's a welcome addition? Just look at his little face. No. Alright, so thank you for bearing with me and for all your love and support. I think this knitting community is a wonderful thing to be part of. If you are coming to Sodbury Yarn Over, please come and find me. I will be in the old grammar school, which is the same building as I was in last year, and they've put me by the alpacas again. So if you're coming to find the alpacas, you should be able to find me. Or if you come and find me, you'll find the alpacas. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in a couple of weeks. Bye for now.